Hey, welcome back to the Tangent Plant. I'm Colton.
I'm Devin.
I have this little plastic McDonald's toy Beyblade top that I've been
Nice.
fiddling with.
I have
Did you
this
ever,
baseball. Go ahead.
did you ever get into Beyblades as a kid?
No, but my sons did. My sons really. Beyblades have made a comeback. I've seen grown
They
men.
sell them in like 100 packs on Amazon. Made
I,
a metal too. I thought about buying some and
oh,
doing like a Big Hero 6 bot fighting ring, but with Beyblades.
have you seen the ones where guys will put them on the end of like impacts and stuff, and they'll make their own homemade Beyblades? And they'll
Yeah.
one guy will put like kerosene or like lighter fluid in there or something, and so when they spark, it'll be like it's really cool.
You ever see the guy that he's got a whole ass flywheel out of a car
Yeah,
and he'll put an impact on it and just spin it as fast as that impact will spin it and then let it off and just see where it goes in his shop?
yeah, that's dope as shit.
Yeah. Like that guy, every time I see one of his videos, the impact gets bigger. Like at one point, there was a whole ass turbocharger strapped to it that worked. It would spool up and then feed the impact with air. Like
Nice.
it was nuts. And that thing would get going at like 1,000 RPM and just whip across the shop.
That's dope.
Yeah.
This right here, what I've got, this old baseball bat, it's old Louisville Slugger. My grandfather, who's 80
Used to
this year.
beat
Good.
colored folks with it.
Yep, good editing. Thank you. You always it started out really fresh for me to have to edit like within the first 5 minutes. It looks old, beat up because it is, but he used this in a little league game, and then I used it in one of my last, like Babe Ruth. I was like 14, and I asked the ump like, "Can I use this bat?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's really small because it's a small bat. It's not very
It's a little
large."
guy.
Yeah, and so
Well, people back then were a lot smaller too,
I had to really hug the plate,
physically.
and I hit a double off of it. And
Hell
then
yeah.
I didn't throw it down. I like lightly tossed it, and then I ran, and I got on home base, and then I never used it again. So
Well,
that
you
was really
peaked.
cool. Yeah. Well, and not only that, but he has his glove from like when he was like 12. He still
Dang.
has it. I used it. I didn't use it in a game, but I would play catch with him. I'm like, can I use your mitt? And dude, I mean, obviously there was no padding in it. And my
Yeah.
grandfather, we played catch, not with that mitt, but I played catch with my granddad at like 75. And he was
Dang.
throwing some heat, bro.
Yeah.
And but when I was playing catch with him as a kid, he just tossed one dude, and I mean, it hurt. It smacked just right. I mean, I was like I hated the when you hit the ball wrong on the baseball bat and it like
And it just
vibrate through your
shocked the
hands.
shit out of your hands.
Yeah, dude. It's like like what is going on here?
Yeah. But no, I had a couple friends growing up that were like real heavy into Beyblades. Like had a dozen or more of the one, like especially like when the ones that would explode got real popular.
Yeah.
We had, or not we, I was always real jealous of my friends that had them because we had divorced parents' money, which was non-existent, so I didn't get to indulge in stuff like that. But they would have little fucking words
Matches.
matches, competitions of Beyblades, and we'd sit around for hours and hours. I mean, sometimes pull all-nighters playing Beyblades, and every now and again I'd get lucky and one of my friends would let me use one of their Beyblades just to play, just so I was included. And fond memories of Beyblades.
Yeah.
Like when was it McDonald's or Wendy's? It might have been Wendy's. I think I now that I think about it, I think this was a Wendy's toy. McDonald's don't have no cool shit like this. But I went down like an autistic rabbit hole of like when Beyblades were introduced to America and who they sold to and when they were bought out and like if you could still buy them. And like it was, my wife was like, you gotta stop, because it was days where I was just looking at Beyblades because I was so hyper fixated on childhood memories.
My kids love Beyblades. My sons had them now. It got to the point where we had to start throwing some away, and we had metal ones that would
Yeah.
explode and all that. And they eventually lost interest. And like, oh, Dad, what about like I think here's the thing, once sports kind of, and I mean, if someone's playing with the Beyblades, they'll still do it. But it was
Yeah.
kind of the same thing for me. Once sports were introduced and I was real heavy into that, all that other stuff kind of fell by the wayside. And I was just playing stuff all the time. Like, I
Yeah.
played video games sometimes. I mean, I think I had a couple Beyblades, but I just kind of didn't like the same thing with Pokemon cards. I had a bunch of Pokemon cards that I had no idea. The way that we used to play Pokemon when I played it briefly was whichever one had the higher like points or whatever, that's who won. We didn't
Mm,
like there was nothing else to it. So it was
yeah.
like, it really wasn't that fun. And then I never really watched Pokemon. I will admit that I watched a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Man, I had Pokemon themed birthday parties as a kid. I
Yeah.
was big into I was big into Pokemon. I had a 3-ring binder of
Mhm.
nothing but Pokemon cards, and I wish I still had it. I don't know whatever happened to it in the several moves we had. It probably got lost or thrown away. Something happened to it, but I had like a 2-inch 3-ring binder of just nothing but the well, the plastic sheets with the slots in them for business
Yeah.
cards and whatnot. I used that for Pokemon cards, and I just had pages and pages and pages of Pokemon cards. Probably nothing that was worth any money or anything, just me having fun collecting them. But I had a lot of Pokemon cards. I was so big into Pokemon. We actually here for a little bit. I got my kids interested in Pokemon, and we were watching Pokemon on TV, the TV show and the origin story of Ash Ketchum. And I don't think no, we haven't watched the movies yet. But I'd really like to. It's been a long time since I've seen the Pokemon movies. I'd like to watch those again. But yeah, and then I grew up a little bit, got out of Pokemon, and then Digimon was my thing, dude. I love Digimon.
There was a Digimon, so two-stepper for I never got into cards except for like baseball cards and football cards. I had lots. And then I'm not gonna name a person, I'll just say my uncle. I
Is that
was
the one
which
that touched you?
no, not that one. I never was touched, sadly. I don't have a backstory like that. It seems like a lot of people do, but I don't.
Oh,
Yeah.
old Uncle Touchy.
Yeah. I my room was clean, and this person was kind of a spaz when I was younger. I'm gonna have to cut this out. And I didn't clean my room the way that they wanted it, and my room was clean. And so, as my punishment, they tore all of my baseball cards
Oh no.
in front of me. And I mean, there was a lot. There was
Yeah,
a lot of baseball cards, and that were given to me by my uncles. And I was a really mad kid for a while.
yeah, I bet.
I made life hell for that person for quite some time. I mean, any way I could, any kind of angst I could find my way into, I drove the point home. I became a real feisty little kid after that. That's not like a huge like traumatic story, but it just pissed me off because it was a lot of work. And I never
Yeah.
touched them. I left them alone. I'd look at them and stuff, and then it just
Mm-hmm.
all gone. And I was like, man, who hurt you? Now thinking back on it, to that person who did that, it's like, man, who hurt you as a kid? Enough to like take a 9-year-old's his like little thing that he kept. That was my
Yeah.
collection. That was
Right.
my thing. And then it just no more. And I didn't collect shit after that. It took that a little goal away.
Yeah, I think the only thing I've ever really collected was Pokemon cards. Not really a big. I just have stuff. I
Yeah.
guess. I guess. I guess.
Pipes.
I've got pipes. Yeah, I guess I have accrued some pipes and CB radios.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got the one that I use in my truck. I've got a Striker SR 655 that's in my truck. I really want a 955. I think it would be cool to set up like right where I'm sitting like a base station. I think base stations are cool.
Yeah, they are.
I'd like to get my ham radio license.
I
That would
see.
be
I'm
pretty
gonna get.
cool.
It's like $14 or
Yeah,
something.
it's not, and then you got to take a test, and then you get your call sign and everything, and then there's like, there to it. Once you get your beginner's ham radio license, you have to wait a certain amount of time before you get your like, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like the next step up where they let you open up your radio or something to transmit on different bandwidths, and then you can start talking around the world.
Yeah,
And then that's how you get guys that are broadcast or transmitting and talking to this international space station.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
That's
that's pretty
cool.
cool. I'm really into that. But so I've got a 655, I've got a Striker 497, I've got a Striker 447, and then I just have a regular Cobra 29 Classic on the
Cobra.
bench out there. Yeah. That one's the spare for when one of the big radios goes down.
I've always liked radios. When I was like in my early 20s, I wanted to get into Morse code, and then I realized like that's for douches and nerds, so I didn't.
There's a guy on social media that I follow that he's trying to bring Morse code back. Like he's got the same thing like with my radios. He's got like 15 different transmitter
The new ones
deals.
look dope.
They're
The new ones
sweet.
like click, 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 and you can
Yeah.
yeah.
And he's got this little deal up top that he said he don't use it anymore, but at one time that's how he communicated. He would, as he was doing it, it would like transcribe it for him so he knew, or like, incoming messages, it would still make the sound, but that little deal would transcribe it for him, which would,
That's
I mean,
dope.
yeah, it's pretty sweet. I think Morse code's really cool.
Yeah. I
There's
would have
no
to
way. I
agree.
mean, it's a whole nother language though, with the doot doot dot doot 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 beep 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 dot. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
It's cool. I
There's
like stuff like that. I do. I
It's
enjoy
super
that.
niche, which is really neat. Like not everybody
Yeah.
is into that kind of thing.
Well, no, because we haven't needed it since 1868, or something wild. Like nobody.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Once the first
Well,
phone. I
but
mean,
well, I want to say those transmitters operate on the internet, like they go across the internet now. It's not
yeah.
actual phone line transmissions,
Yeah.
but we still have phone lines. We still have internet lines, communication lines, I guess I should say, on telephone poles and shit. Like if something were to happen, that guy is going to be the most prepared, probably.
I think that are just like radios. Like if you can get yourself a ham radio
Yeah.
or one of those handheld dig, like you're gonna be cool. But when I think of phones, bro, I think like the first couple people that had phones, like people beginning when now people back in the day when cell phones became huge, people were like I don't want that. And
Yeah.
back in the day, it's like I don't, like when they had just regular phones, like I don't want one of those machines. I write
Yeah.
letters. I go and see
Yeah.
people. Like I
It's
don't want one of
It's
those.
funny. I vividly remember when everybody was starting to upgrade to smartphones. We all had flip phones or your regular your Nokias and whatnot.
Yeah.
My uncle, and I remember this vividly. He said, "If I'm gonna upgrade to that new iPhone or whatever they call it, that thing better grow lips and perform tasks
Yeah.
before I upgrade to some kind of machine like that." And
Yeah.
and now everybody has, you know,
Yeah.
but that was, back in whenever the iPhone came out,
2000 like
2007.
yeah,
Yeah.
2007
So
or
it was
8.
I was still a kid, but I remember that's always stuck with me for some reason.
You knew who the rich kid was in school when they like whipped out a iPhone. You're like, what?
Yeah.
But dude, I
The
remember they
only
looked so
reason I got an
basic.
iPhone, the only reason I ever got an iPhone was because they were in T. Well, trying to think. No, this was back in we had Centennial Wireless back then.
I remember Centennial.
We had Centennial
Yeah.
Wire back before AT&T bought them, and so they were doing dollar upgrades. They probably still do, but that was the only because I had a Sam. Was it a Samsung? No, it was a Motorola flip phone, and my dad said we may as well get you a smartphone. So then I got an iPhone 3GS, and I had that damn thing for, oh god, 5-6 years, and then upgraded from that to a Samsung Galaxy S. To put that into perspective, I think they're on the 24 now.
Yeah.
That's how long
Yeah.
ago that was. But yeah, that was a culture shock going from a flip phone into several years after the iPhone came out to getting an iPhone and just having the world at my fingertips. I mean, this was
Yeah.
still early on in the smartphone internet days, so it was still pretty limited. But like,
I think I
mean,
got
that
one in
was that
2010.
really. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
I
don't
think that's
know.
when I
It
think I
was,
was like a sophomore.
to be honest, that's probably about the time I got one because
But
I had flip phones for several years.
I had a flip phone. I broke, those old Nokia flip phones that were black and had like a silver ring around the like front.
I
Okay,
don't.
I had like 6 of those. I'd break them and like insurance was like $33.
Man, you're rough on shit for breaking
Well,
Nokia's. Good night.
yeah, dude. I mean, well, I got mad one time and I just snapped it in half, and then like
Not a
there
boy.
was a lot of that. There was a bunch of that.
Yeah.
But I used to be the guy like before because I didn't like. I had an iPod and then I lost my iPod, so I'd plug in
Oh,
the ear jack thing for the Nokia phone. And I'd listen to the radio
hell yeah.
on that, And then once I got an iPhone, I remember like YouTube was super basic and it wasn't
Yeah.
like red or white. It was the brown TV screen and it would say
Yeah.
YouTube and like that was cool. And then yeah, but
Back in the
it was
day when
crazy.
mobile apps were simple, You know, you had
Yeah.
the flashlight. You remember the flashlight before we actually had flashlights on the
Yeah,
phones?
because you'd have to
It would
get the
just turn your screen bright white.
yeah, or you'd have to get like the for one, I can't remember what it was, but you'd have to get like an app.
Yeah,
You'd have
yeah.
to get an app to like
You'd have to download an app for everything.
yeah. There was nothing like
And
yeah.
there was nothing that would just factory install when you turned your phone on for the first time. It was all everything you had to download, like that flashlight app that would literally just turn your screen bright white because
And
we
it
didn't
wasn't
have
even that great of a flashlight.
no,
It was a
no.
shitty
And
flashlight.
then like you had, do you remember the beer app
Yeah.
where you'd open it and then you could act like you're drinking as a 12-year-old? That was the coolest thing.
Oh,
And
dude,
then
okay. Go ahead, sorry.
I remember having this app. It was just guns. That's all it was. And you touch the screen, and the gun would jump on the screen. You just touch it a bunch of times, and it would just pop, 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 pop. My dad had an app. It was a Star Wars app for a lightsaber on his iPhone.
Yeah.
One morning, he downloaded that app. I don't know if it was that morning or the night before, and he was so excited to show us. Me and my sister, we were sitting there on the couch waiting for the school bus to come, and he had his phone in this case, but the top was open, so you could just slide your phone in and out of it. And he was doing the like, and it was making the sound, you know, and
Yeah.
then like if you shook it, it would go like it hit something. And my sister was, oh, I bet she was 10 at the time.
Mhm.
She remembers it too. That's the funny part. She's like, that's so cool. Can I do it? And my dad went like he flipped it a little too hard, and it came flying out of the case and hit her right on the eyebrow.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Split her eye open. She's bleeding all over the place. And it wasn't until she went to the bathroom and looked in the mirror, saw the blood, and then started freaking out. Well, my dad was an EMT at the time, so he just gauzed it up, soaked the blood up, closed it, whatever, with a little butterfly band-aid. My sister's getting on the school bus, bawling her eyes out with a butterfly band-aid on her eyebrow. And you know, then of course she had to go to school and explain to everybody what happened. But it was just the funniest thing. She was like, cool, can I play with that? Dunk. I got whacked in the face.
So my mom pissed me off one day, real good. She grounded me for something, and it was really stupid, I thought. And so I had those old computer speakers, the gray ones that you'd like turn the knob and it'd cling and it'd click on. And
Yeah,
so
it would turn on and you could audibly hear it. It
yeah,
or whatever. Yeah.
So and it was long, like the cords were long, and so I put it on her nightstand. It was like 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday. She never got to sleep in, ever. And this was like her one day.
Yeah.
And I took that gun app and I hit that AK, dude, and I had that bitch up all the way. And it was just, oh my God, and she's freaking out. And dude, I'm holding my guts.
Yeah,
I'm laughing so
howling.
hard. Oh, I got grounded for so much longer.
I
I
bet.
took my phone off and I ran. I tried to go, and she knew who it was. Nobody
Just
else on
trying
the
to
phone but
escape
me and
whatever
her.
wrath was coming down the
Yeah.
stairs.
Oh, dude, and she lost. Well, okay, my mom had a terrible. This is kind of like funny. Not really, but my mom used to have like bad dreams, like really like night
Yeah.
terrors, and she'd wake up screaming. Well, one night it was like me and my cousin and somebody else and like my grandmother. Some reason there was a lot of people at her house, and she woke up and she freaked out and she made everybody get out of the house because there was a bomb in the house. She'd wake up screaming in the middle of the night. Or
Dang.
this was really creepy. My great aunt, she and her kid was staying at my grandmother's house like overnight, just doing stuff, and had all the grandkids together. Well, all the kids together. They weren't their grandkids, but in the middle of the night, my great aunt was waking people up, going room to room because she had a dream that somebody had went in there and murdered everyone.
Shit.
And so she woke everybody up and was like screaming and like bugging out. And I'm like, oh, I can see where you get it from. Dude,
Yeah, I
my
was
mom
gonna
would
say it
wake
runs in the family.
she'd be taking a nap. It'd be like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'd be like putting peanut butter on the sandwich, and she'd just let out this blood curdling scream, and I'd run in her room thinking like something's wrong, and she goes, "I just had a nightmare." I was like, "Why do you got to scream?" What like
Yeah.
and I've had bad dreams before, and like
Oh,
never.
I've woke up heavy breathing and a sweat, but never nothing
Yeah,
like
never
that.
like screaming like
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, dude,
crazy.
like you thought she was getting chopped up, like
Yeah.
not even exaggerating. I wish I was because it was my gosh, just stupid.
You know
Well,
what though? I would rather that than it's only happened twice since me and my wife have been together. or this has been several years. She hasn't had it in several years. It's been a while, but sleep paralysis.
Yeah,
Trying to get somebody up out of sleep paralysis, that's spooky.
yeah.
Like I don't remember the particulars, but I just remember my wife was like breathing heavy in her sleep, not really moving, but just breathing heavy in her eye, like her eye, you could see her eyes moving around inside of her eyelids. And then all of a sudden tears started coming out. But she wasn't like her mouth wasn't open. She wasn't moving. She's just like you could see her eyes moving around and then tears started coming out like she was crying. And then so like I'm not trying to shake the shit out of her, but I'm kind of giving her a wiggle, like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, come on, wake up. It's all right. Whatever. And then she finally come out of it. And then she's like, I've been kicking you as hard as I possibly can for the last 20 minutes. And I was like, no, no, you weren't. You weren't moving at all. That's spooky. I don't like that.
My cousins had it a couple times. When I was staying the night, like when we were younger, teenagers, early 20s. Well, we lived together in our early 20s. But you know, it's funny about sleep paralysis of those memes. You see where RFK is your paralysis team
Yeah.
entity.
Mike
So funny.
Tyson.
Yeah, the Mike Tyson ones I saw.
I've
I think, but it is no. I've never had to experience that. I've experienced bad dreams,
Yeah.
night terrors. I used to write down my dreams a lot, and I still every now and then when I have a real wild one, I'll wake up in the morning and I'll try to write something down. But
There for a while, I was having, and this, we're 30 now, and he died on my wife's 20th birthday or 21st birthday. So he's been gone, oh geez, 9 or 10 years now, I guess. My great uncle, my grandma's brother, he lived in a nursing home for a long time because had ended up having getting into some dementia, but he had
make
COPD.
it sound like it's cookies.
Yeah. Uh, He just he had some, once in
Yeah.
a while. He he yeah. He ended up having a little bit of dementia and COPD, emphysema, macular degeneration.
Jesus.
He was pretty dicked up by the end.
He took like 4 or 5 cookies.
Yeah, he did. Like, and with the I don't know if it was the COPD or the emphysema or the combination of both. He was just full of water all the time. And but so anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. I used to have this reoccurring dream that we would be there visiting him at the nursing home, and I fucking hate nursing homes. I hate nursing
Yeah.
homes. I always hated, not that I hated going to visit him, but just having to go to the nursing home.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'd be walking out of the nursing home and then we'd be in the car and then all of a sudden you'd see like a couple of windows with just a random blood spatter. And then people would be running around inside and then out comes the zombies from inside the nursing home. Like that's
Oh
where
yeah.
the epicenter of the outbreak was, and I had that dream for a long time, especially like I didn't really have it, but just for whatever reason after he died, I had that reoccurring dream for years afterwards, and I don't know why. And then it just stopped. I haven't had that dream in a long time.
There was a lady, she lived next to my grandma, and my aunts and stuff would go like visit her. She was an old lady, and her husband had died, and her children had died or like lived out of state. And her name was Clara. And when Clara died, she was like 106.
Mm.
But before she turned 106, I was like, I mean, she had to be like 90 something when I first met her. But she would crochet or knit. I think it's crochet. I don't know. But she would make like little money pouches. So it'd be like the mouth of like a monkey
Yeah,
or a
that's
donkey or
fun.
whatever. And you'd pop it. So she told me a story one time. She goes, when I was 22, I smoked and I went to a doctor because I had some kind of issues. And the doctor told me that I'd be dead in 2 years because of whatever. And she would look at him and she goes, "Yeah, but look who's dead now." And she would just like kind of chuckle. And I'm like, yeah, she was a real sweet old lady. But we would go visit her at a nursing home too. Same thing, same vibes. Like I was just like, I
Just
don't like
smells like a
this.
nursing home.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
just that unmistakable. One of them's soiled themselves in the hallway and nobody's come to deal with it.
I had a girlfriend that worked at a nursing home, and dude, every time she come home, like, go shower. Like, I can't stand
Mm-hmm.
the way you smell. Like, not trying to
Yeah.
be rude, but I had an Aunt Lucille. So this woman, she never had any children. She was a very spoiled, like, woman, and her husband died Wesley like a long time ago, way before I was born. And she was those type of people, like when we go to her house, my grandmother would be like,
So
okay,
mid 1900s.
yeah, mid 1900s. He died in like 80 something,
Yeah.
I guess.
I guess
And
that's late 1900s.
yeah, he died. Yeah. And so, but you couldn't, like, she's very particular. Like, she wouldn't let you sit on her furniture, supposedly. I never asked. But my grandma was like, no, don't sit on her furniture. She was very particular. And I'll say that she was a prayer warrior. She was a very, like, lovely lady. Very lovely. Very particular. And it was funny because, like, her husband was like a raging dude. You are so blurry right now. It's not even funny. Like, it's so, I can see you, but you're so blurry. No, stop doing that. You're making it worse. You're making it so much worse.
I don't know. You look fine. You look fine to me, so it must be on your end.
No, well, it must be you because
Nah.
I look great on my end, and you say I look good on my end, your end. So there you go. You're better. Nope, it's gotten worse. It's gotten way worse. So let me see if I can turn my data on or my. Let me see if that helps. If I just made it worse. I think it just made it worse. Oh my god, your eyes, dude. Right now, your eyes, one's like up here, the other one's like right here. Like it's so bad. This is so gay. I hate internet. I hate this.
Wiggity, 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 wiggity.
Stop. Dude, it's gonna cut like half our episode. It'll cut this for technical difficulty, like all this. It'll say, like, do you want to cut this now? That's better. It's getting a lot better now. That's good. That makes me happy. And I spoke too soon. Looks like it's gonna be one of those nights.
Cool.
Don't know why. Yeah,
Love
that's
that.
super cool. Love that a bunch. Let's get into some fact time. We've been telling old people stories and
Fact
dementia.
times. Well, speaking of old people, Chuck Norris died.
Chuck Norris did die. Sad face.
Yeah,
face for America.
Face. That is sad face for America. He was.
America lost a real one.
Yeah, my aunt, she said Chuck Norris actually died in like 2006, but it's just taken this long for the Grim Reaper to build up the courage to come tell him.
Yeah. That's I mean, look, dude, I don't remember. I've watched when I was a kid, like I saw some like old kung fu movies, but I just remember him as Walker, Texas Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's
him and
funny,
that black dude.
yeah, him and the black dude. I got my oldest daughter hooked on Walker, Texas Ranger for a little bit. It was like she would come home from grandma's house and Daddy, I want to watch Walker.
Yeah.
Okay, we can watch Walker. And then we'd sit and watch Walker, Texas Ranger for a little bit. I love that show.
Okay,
I
here's the
always
thing about
have since I
Chuck.
was a kid.
Here's the thing about Chuck Norris: is someone who hasn't done TV in like almost 30 years is still so relevant.
Yeah.
Like so relevant that I mean, people, my kids, your kids know who Chuck Norris is, even though they probably have only seen his face on memes
or have never seen his face at all.
Yes.
But they know Chuck Norris. You know, Chuck Norris can unscramble an egg.
Yeah, I mean, just anything Chuck Norris wise, it always surprised me because I remember him as a kid as Texas Ranger, but he never really did any other acting. And he did those infomercials for like workout equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
But like just something about this dude that just, I mean, surpassed time and like his influence and culture. And he just still was like this wave of American awesomeness that just screamed America, screamed facial hair, screamed, just doing the right thing and being a boss. And
Yeah.
we really
like
did.
Chuck,
America
Chuck
really
Norris. Norris never actually grew a beard. His facial hair just kept trying to outrun him because it was so scared.
Yeah, exactly. Chuckles. Or like he told that Chuck Norris joke on an interview where he's petting a tiger and the trainer was like, I started to pet him and he started to growl and the trainer's like, all right, just carefully back away or back up. And he goes, so the tiger did it. He just slowly started to back away from it. And I was like, that's so funny. That's so funny, dude. Like
I remember him
telling
a Chuck Norris joke one time. He said that he got bit by a king cobra. One time he was out doing something somewhere and got bit by a king cobra, and he said after 3 days of just intense, agonizing, worst pain ever, the king cobra ended up dying.
That's so funny when you hear from him.
Yeah.
Like I just enjoy about the fact that he said it.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
There's gotta be a video clip somewhere. I remember seeing it, but
I'm sure.
But Chuck Norris, he's the only person to know Victoria's Secret.
That's funny. So I'm gonna do some science facts, and then I'm gonna get into some like history stuff again. So first, missing gold. There's enough gold in the Earth's core to cover the entire surface of the planet in the deep layer, like in a whole knee deep layer of gold. That's
It's a
wild.
lot of gold.
That's a
That's not nearly as rare earth metals as you would think a rare earth metal would
well,
be.
it's in the core, so it's all at the core
So
of the earth.
you'd have to go after it like Cowboys versus Aliens style,
Yeah.
where they're
Well,
just going in and sucking it out.
not only that, but like anytime I think of gold, I think of Austin Powers Gold Member. It's Gold Member. Yeah. It's
Go.
gold, it's gold, it's gold, it's solid gold, baby. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
think, dude, the slightest touch. You
Smoking a
touch it
pipe.
too much. Yeah. Hey, gold member. Dude. Yeah, and he's like he whips out his dick and it's like a key, and then like every
Yeah.
time he takes off his pants it like shines
Yeah,
off
you
his
can see it.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love dude, that's the funniest thing ever.
Horrible smelting accident. Ooh,
It's
that's
horrible smelting it. Yeah, yeah. And he puts it in his yeah, it's like yeah, smoking a pancake.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I love Goldmember. Fat Bastard's okay. Everybody
You
loves Fat
crazy
Bastard.
Dutch bastard.
Yeah, I love that, dude. I love when I'm gonna watch Austin Powers later. I like
I love when he's headed back to his submarine thing and he all of a sudden turns into a truck driver with a CB radio and they're talking back and forth.
I don't think it's the first one. Maybe there's the first one or the second one where there's that Irish assassin and he's wearing his Lucky Charms around his.
Yeah.
He goes, no one will take me Lucky Charms.
They're after me Lucky Charms and everybody starts snickering. He's like, what?
Yeah, yeah. Scotty's got to be the best though. Like his slow decline into evilness when he started, and then when he's super evil, and he's doing his maniacal laugh, and Doctor was like, "Scotty!" He's like laughing too hard, dude. It's so funny. I love that.
And they're going back and forth, and Doctor Evil's hitting him with just the
Yeah,
zip it, zip, 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 and that cracks me up because that's the
Such
kind
a
of
good
dad that
movie.
I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's such a good man. Austin Powers was, I mean, when I was a little kid, I loved Austin Powers. When I was
Yeah.
like 6, and now looking back on it, A, I don't think I should have been able to watch that. B, I mean, dude, when I'm like 6, I'm like, Ivana Hump a lot. And just like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, but
that
at the
was
same
back
time,
when America had a sense of humor. Could you imagine that coming out today
Well-
with especially with something like Mini Me?
well, dude, Scary Movie, they're coming out the new one, and that is the most watched trailer in history.
Oh, because of the trans stuff.
Well, not only that, but like
that lit the internet on fire.
Well, I think that, and I think America is ready for another comedy, like a funny.
It's been a long time since we've had not just a scary movie, but something like that.
Yeah, it's just
been
where
so long. I miss.
Well, do you
I wish.
remember,
I
like-
wish they would come out with like a scary movie. Like we don't do spoof movies anymore.
Do you remember
remember-
Epic Movie?
Big movie.
It had Captain Jack Sparrow as like a drunk
Yeah,
dude, and he would like
yeah.
run. And it makes me
I kind
laugh.
of remember that now, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking like when they made a spoof about Spider-Man and Drake
Bell.
Drake Bell was
Yes.
the star in that. You
Yeah.
remember that movie?
Yes.
Maybe that was a scary movie too, but
No,
it
not.
wasn't. It was its own movie.
It was his own
That's
movie.
what I thought.
Yeah.
And like when in the is it the scary movie where they're spoofing the War of the Worlds when Charlie Sheen gets that huge gigantic boner?
That's the second to last one. I think it is. I think yes. It is a scary
Is
movie.
it that one? Yeah. 'Cause
Mhm.
he gets that gigantic boner and the cat sticks to it and he's winging it around the house and then falls. And then he falls off his balcony and then is TP'd on his wiener because
Yeah.
he falls and it digs into the asphalt because it's so big and hard.
Such a dude. Those are such fun movies.
America needs some shit like that.
I miss movies like that. I just miss funny comedies. None of these stupid
Like Soul Plane.
we have such good moments, and then you bring up this movie that just,
I will die on the
wasn't
hill
good.
that Soul Plane is a good movie.
and you're the only one. You're the only person on this hill. You're
Fairly
all
certain
alone.
that was one of the awful movies that me and my dad watched together. That sounds like something me and him would watch. That's probably why I like it so much.
Yeah,
I love Soul Plane. It's such a good movie. It's so funny.
it's a dumb movie.
Well, you're
So-
gay.
So are you.
That kind of
So
invalidates your opinion.
a pot calling the kettle black. Well, I don't
You
know
know,
if you can say that these days, but
you know how I know you're gay? When you email people, it says sent from my iPhone.
anytime that you email anybody from your iPhone, it says that.
You can delete that.
I'm not going to. I want people to know that I'm better than them, and I have an iPhone. Yeah. And so when people with Samsung open it, they realize like, oh, I'm retarded.
Well, you know what? When I email people on my Samsung,
Yeah.
it says sent from my Samsung or whatever the fuck it says. I just delete
Yeah.
it.
Well,
I
yeah, because you don't want people to know.
Oh yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, I know. Well, it is true.
Subliminally hiding my poorness. I'd rather be
So-
poor than smooth brained and gay. So
Well, you just happen to be poor and gay, so like you suck. And that.
you know what? You know what that means though? It means I'm doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
I'm not
You're
not
doing it for
getting
the
any
love of
money out of it.
Yeah, your wife must really love the game
Yeah.
when you're just coming home from the truck stop full of semen, and she knows it's all in your mustache and stuff.
Yeah.
She knows.
Getting home and it's like I have a milk mustache, but it's not milk. It just
Yeah.
smells really bad.
It's salty goodness for you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like
It's been out in the heat and I've been breathing on it, so it's got musk to it.
yeah,
That's my
I mean,
favorite part, actually.
yeah. I wear it as cologne.
I save it for later. I
Yeah.
slurp it up for dessert when I get home and have dinner with my family. The kids are like, "Dad, what's that smell?" I'm like, "You wouldn't understand."
So here's another one. Shark age. Greenland sharks can live up to over 400 years, meaning there are sharks alive today that were swimming before the Taj Mahal was built.
Dang. I know
Yeah.
there was I just saw something about a Greenland shark. There was a shark circling Greenland that was like 800 years old or something. Or maybe it was Ireland.
Well, I know that alligators or crocodiles, maybe both, they don't die because of old age. They die because they get too big. Like if you're an alligator and you die of natural causes, it's because you get so big you can't feed yourself.
Yeah.
And so you basically starve to
You
death
just starve to
because you
death
get so
because you can't.
big.
Well, I won't say that. That's mean.
I wish crippled people didn't exist. Yeah, that is mean, Colton.
It says recent studies using radiocarbon dating of eye lens proteins have estimated that some Greenland sharks may live between 272 and 512 years.
It's a huge gap.
With one female possibly born around 1505, making it older than Shakespeare. These sharks grow at a glacial pace, adding roughly 1 centimeter per year and reach sexual maturity at around 150 years of age. Damn. You imagine being 150 years old before you hit puberty?
Well, could you imagine how boring life would have to be? Like after being around for like 500 years, you're like, dude, I don't know what else to do.
Swimming around doing what else do you do but eat and swim and shit as a shark?
Okay, sharks, I don't know if it's all sharks, but I'm pretty sure great whites, they can't stop moving. So even when they're
I've heard that,
sleeping, they have to move or their heart stops or something.
Yeah.
Which also sucks.
Well, I think it has to do something with their gills because they're I don't want to call it, they're not deep sea creatures, but they're lower, so I guess there's not as much oxygen or something down there. So they have to keep swimming so they can keep oxygen in their blood.
Fungi communication. Trees talk to each other via a massive underground fungal network, often called Wood Wide Web.
Yep. That's another thing that I've heard about. That's pretty fun.
Distance in your DNA. If you uncoiled all DNA in your body, it would stretch about 10 billion miles, reaching past Pluto and back.
Boy, that must be an old fact because Pluto's not a planet anymore.
Yeah, it must be. Well, okay, acidic stomach. Your stomach acid is strong enough to dissolve stainless steel razor blades. And it says in parentheses, please don't test this. So
yeah, the only thing it can't eat through is like a glass beaker.
Roughly 93% of the mass of the human body is made up of elements created in the hearts of dying stars.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. It also makes me like question a bunch of stuff. Now, here's some more fun facts. This is about America because that's where we're at.
Hell yeah.
There's the flag, everybody. You can't see my fucking hand.
I am in a safari land, not America. Monkeys.
Oh, here, I gotta put my screen up here so I can see.
Monkeys.
Okay, here's one. Here's some George Washington facts. Okay, most people died
6'5" and autistic and had lead teeth that made him go crazy.
Half that's not true. Women
He did. He had lead teeth. His denture. He had full dentures that were, and half of his teeth were made out of horse. Like I think they were horse teeth and
Slave teeth.
slave teeth, and but the fixture or whatever was made out of lead. So he was just
Yeah.
constantly microdosing lead all day long, making him go fucking nuts.
Americans were taller and often more literate than the British. Colonial men averaged about 5'8", a solid 3 inches taller than the average Brit, likely due to better nutrition. New England literacy
Yeah,
rates were about 70% of men compared to 40% in Britain.
yeah,
Okay, here's one. Most people died of disease, especially smallpox, than combat. Smallpox ravaged both sides, killing far more than bullets or bayonets. Washington controversially ordered his troops inoculated, an early form of coalition to combat the epidemic. Now, here's the thing also about disease and like the Civil War, the Revolutionary War. So those musket bullets before the mini ball was invented, I think those musket bullets were moving slow. So let's just say there was like two people in front of you or one person in front of you and then you, and they get shot and then you get shot. Well, that
hmm
bullet's not moving fast enough to like burn that material off. So there'd be fragments of his blood, his flesh, and his clothing that
yeah.
would go into you, and then that would cause infection in like the bullet wound, and then that's what would get people a lot too.
Dang.
Yeah, um it was super gross. There were more than one Boston Tea Party. Right after that happened, they went back and it happened all over the colonies where people after that one, people were going over to the like British ships and dumping tea all over the place.
Hell yeah.
Um Hell yeah.
Roll Tide.
George Washington's bodyguard tried to assassinate him. In 1776, just before the Declaration of Independence, a plot was uncovered to kill Washington. It was led by his personal bodyguard, Thomas Hickey, moron, and along with New York's mayor and others.
Constantly getting
Hickey,
sucked on.
yes. Oh, no, here's another thing, too. The Declaration of Independence never uses the word independence. Its official title is the Unanimous Declaration of the 13 United States of America. The word independence is nowhere in the text itself. So that's wild. The very first soldier in the Civil War died by accident. After the bombardment of Fort
Pussy
Sumter,
boy.
yeah, the war's opening shots, no one on either side had died in combat. But during the 100-gun salute to lower the U.S. flag at Fort Sumter, a cannon misfired and exploded, killing Union Private Daniel Hugh, the war's accidental first casualty.
Damn.
That was yeah,
You
yeah,
imagine,
okay,
man, you being all gung ho, getting ready to fight in the war, and then boom, just
yeah. Then you just
dead.
die.
Yeah.
Now, I have heard this before. This one I have heard about. Wounds that would literally glow in the dark and helped healing. At the Battle of Shiloh in 1862, thousands of wounded soldiers lay in a rainy Tennessee mud for days. Many noticed their injuries emitted a strange blue green glow at night, called angel's glow by troops. Those with glowing wounds surprisingly healed better and had lower infection rates. Modern scientists think to high school students in 2001. Oh, thanks to high school students in 2001 explained it. Hypothermia plus mud allowed bioluminescent bacteria to thrive and fight, to fight off basically the infection. The first submarine was sunk by enemies, also sank itself. There were submarines back in the day. But I watched a video about this, and it was basically just like one or two dudes, and it was like, it was not cool, dude. You were
Yeah.
just in
No.
this like little thing, and just
Yeah.
that had to be
Just
scary,
just
dog.
trying your best. And back then, like everything was made out of wood.
Yeah. Well, no,
You
they
know.
had steel. They had steel stuff. They had. I'm pretty sure they did. I don't think those were made by wood. Look it up. You have like
Well, I was looking at Nazi meth chocolate.
yes,
Oh yes.
yes.
Got you so riled up.
Siamese
What'd you want me to look up?
twins. I guess I mean you can look up to see if like subs used in the revolution. Well, there were subs used in the Revolutionary War. I'm pretty sure too, or like the War of 1812. Look up when the first submarine was used in battle in the United States.
The first submarine used in warfare was the Turtle in 1776 during the American Revolutionary War. The Turtle, designed by American inventor David Bushnell, was a one-man submersible built to attack British ships blockading the New York harbor, constructed from wood and reinforced iron hoops. So it's basically a barrel.
Yeah,
basically a big ass whiskey barrel. It measured about 6 feet in height and just over 7 feet in length, accommodating a single operator. The turtle used ballast tanks to submerge and surface, and a hand cranked propeller for underwater propulsion. Its primary weapon was a mine attached to the hull of enemy ships via a screw mechanism intended to detonate after a timed fuse. I remember learning about this in middle school. That's something that I totally forgot about. Although the turtle represented the first attempt to use a submarine in combat, its attack on the British flagship, the HMS Eagle, was unsuccessful due to technical difficulties, including the inability to penetrate the ship's copper sheathing. Despite this, it marked the first known use of a submersible craft in warfare, establishing the concept of underwater naval attacks. The first successful sinking of an enemy warship by a submarine occurred much later on February 17, 1864, when the Confederate submarine, the H.L. Hunley, rammed a torpedo into the Union warship USS Housatonic in Charleston Harbor during the American Civil War. This event demonstrated the practical combat potential of submarines, though the Hunley itself sank shortly afterward, killing its crew.
Yeah.
In summary, the Turtle of 1776 was the first submarine used in war, pioneering underwater combat, while the H.L. Hunley in 1864 achieved the first successful combat sinking by a submarine.
Okay, so to bring up the Civil War, here's something.
Oh, God.
So roughly 400,000, including 110,000 killed in action or died of wounds. The rest mostly disease. That's how many Union deaths. Confederate deaths were 290 to 350,000, but proportionally far worse. The South suffered a mortality rate more than twice as high as the North due to poor resources, supply shortages, and blockades. Total casualties, including wounds, captured, and missing, over 1.5 million. Some soldiers counted multiple times. Context: this represents about 2 to 2.5% of the U.S. population at the time, equivalent of roughly 7 to 8 million deaths if scaled to today's 340 million Americans.
Damn.
Yeah. So like it was intense, bro. Like a lot of people died in this war. I mean, a lot of people died in this war.
Yeah.
I mean, 2%, 2.5% of the U.S. population at the time.
That's a shit ton.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it is a shit ton. It's a lot. I mean, it's just a crazy story.
Hella, one might say.
Yeah, hella
Hella
these guys died.
casualties. Yeah.
And I mean, it's intense. Like that whole thing is intense. The whole war. I mean, when you were a kid, you hear families hated families and fought against families, but no,
Yeah.
people really like hated each other about this and were super on it. So I mean, that's just crazy. But yeah, a lot of people were killed in this. And on top of that, but like the resources, the English were plotting against. So like England and Europe loved the Confederacy and loved the South because the South was a little bit more English, like the way they had their plantations and they treated like the upper class was more like royalty. And so England plotted with the Confederacy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that they could, when the United States, if they won, they would have a foothold more in that than like the Union at the time. But a guy we should definitely do a podcast on for sure is Andrew Jackson. That guy was wild. That was a wild man. Somebody tried to assassinate Andrew Jackson and the gun misfired and the guy pulled out a second gun and it misfired. And Andrew Jackson either beat him to death or beat him close to death with his cane. Just started beating the living. Yeah. And then this isn't funny, but it's kind of funny, but it's kind of sad. So I can't remember. I don't want to say it was a chief, an Indian chief, like that represented all these Indians, right? Went to go talk to Andrew Jackson about like what they were doing because he's the one that invented like the Trail of Tears and all that. And so this Indian chief went to go meet with Andrew Jackson in the White House. So when the Indian chief left, he was crying. And like, so Andrew Jackson was fair. Like, I'll meet with you. But like at the end of the day, and not only that,
Richard Lawrence, an unemployed house painter.
I think it was before the Civil War. I don't know if it was the War of 1812 or whatever war, but like 3 months after it was over, Andrew Jackson was still fucking Indians up or something in Florida. Like and so here's the thing that he's like, they were trying to take over Florida at the time. And Andrew Jackson's like, there's something, take it by force. And the president's like, no. no, don't do that. And eventually he goes, no, I'm just going to take it by force. And so he beats these people, but the president had already bought it.
Mm.
Like he'd already bought the land. So Andrew Jackson was just down there killing people for no reason. And he's like, you see what I did? And the president's like, yeah, I see
For the
what
love
you
of the
did.
game.
Yeah, he dueled. When he died, he'd been shot like 17 times by like
Damn.
dueling. And so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this man was, and not only that, but he hated the banks. So he vetoed the central banks and totally bankrupted the United States. But at the same time, most people nowadays would agree that they are well against the central banks. But I would love to do a piece on like Abraham Lincoln, who was like, I think I already told you this, but he boxed. He was a wrestler. That's what he did.
Nice.
I had this stupid teacher. Sorry, she was an assistant, like a teacher's aide when we were in like fourth grade, and she argued with me because she goes, "Abraham Lincoln was born in Illinois," and I was like, "No, he was born in Kentucky." And she and I went back and forth about this, and the teacher came in, and I was like upset, and the teacher's like, "What's going on?" And the teacher's like, "He was born in Kentucky," and that the teacher's aide was so mad.
Hodgenville.
Yep, Hodgenville, Kentucky. But I would like to do a piece, like a podcast about Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln.
You know, I'd like to do a piece on his vampire killing escapades.
Oh, that's fake. That's fakery. So that's fakery, good sir. That's wrong.
You are blaspheming, good sir.
Yeah, yeah, good sir. It's the same thing as Soul Plane. Like, why'd they make it? You know, what the fuck does Abraham Lincoln and fighting vampires have to do with anything? It's like make another Blade movie. Make like a
Yeah.
Blade Origin. You know, don't make vampire killing Abraham Lincoln. And the
Why
guy didn't
not?
even look like Abraham Lincoln. That's the
Yeah, he
thing
did.
too.
Top
No, he
hat and
didn't.
beard. That's all you need.
Here, I'll tell you what to watch. Watch the movie Lincoln with Daniel Day-Lewis in it. It is a
I
beautiful.
think I have seen that one.
No, you admitted that you didn't last time, and I believe that more than what you just said. Tommy Lee Jones is in it. It's where they try to pass the
not Lincoln
Emancipation
Financial,
Proclamation.
dummy.
Yeah,
Lincoln, the
movie.
2012.
Yep. I bought it on DVD when I worked at Walmart as in high school.
I thought I might have, but I didn't.
I bought it. So when I worked at Walmart in high school, every time I get a paycheck, I'd go buy like 3
Damn, they're
movies.
still selling it on Blu-ray.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's some old people out there that. So one time, this is funny you bring this up. So when the Family Video was in town, like it closed like 5 or 6 years ago. I asked the girl, like the counter girl, I was like, so who goes back and buys like these pornos and stuff? Like who does this? And she goes, a lot of old people. She goes, surprising amount of old people. And she goes, honestly, it's a lot of like couples and just single men that live out in the country and don't have internet.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, and so we went back there to look, and it was right after the whole. It was like a year after, maybe not a year, maybe, but it was after the whole Bill Cosby thing happened, and there was one of those movies, and it was like Puddin' Cup, and it showed like Bill Cosby in the middle of these two white women, and I thought it was the
Hell
funniest
yeah.
thing, bro. Yeah, hell yeah.
We got on the topic of when me and my wife was putting the kids to bed the other day. We got on the topic of CDs, and CD players, and cassettes, and the Walkman, and VHS tapes and stuff. Did you know that you can still buy VCRs? Walmart sells VCRs on their website.
Well, you can buy a VCR.
Dude, you can still buy blank recording VCR tapes, VHS tapes.
Well,
I was
you
like,
can.
who is? Why are they still making those? Who's buying those?
People
Other than people that are really nostalgic.
People can buy those, but also if you have like a crisp, like brand new looking, like Tarzan hardback VCR tape and its case, that's like worth like $500.
There's a bunch of people selling them. I mean, yes, but not just Tarzan. I was on Etsy the other night, and well, no, just looking. Literally, I Googled VHS tapes for sale.
Okay,
like it's 2026, man. How are you supposed to figure that out? I'm not after it for the porns. I'm after it for the Bambi and Lady and the Tramp and Aladdin and what?
However you have to dignify it, that's okay.
Well, it was just mainly just for science. Like I was gonna, cause that was the other thing we got. Speaking of Family Video, I was like, I told my daughter, I said, we didn't have streaming services when I was a kid. We didn't have all that. And the streaming service that we did have was Netflix, and it wasn't even a streaming service. When Netflix first came out, you would rent You would go on their website, rent a DVD or two or three. They would mail it to you. You'd have to wait for it to come in the mail. You'd watch the movie, keep it for a day or two, and mail it back. That's
Yep.
what Netflix started out as. And it was like $8 a month or something back then. But I told her, I said, we used to have to go to a store to rent movies. We would go to a store, we would rent a movie or two or three, bring them home, watch them, and then we'd have to go back to the store to return them. And then we got on the topic of VHS tapes and how if you returned a VHS tape that wasn't rewound to the beginning, you'd get hit with an extra fee because then they would have to go through and rewind the fucking thing all the
Yep.
way to the beginning. And she was just blown. Of course, she's only 5, but she was just blown away. It's like, we didn't just always have this on the TV. Like, you're spoiled now. You have
Yeah.
it so easy. Back in the day, we had to leave our house to go watch movies.
Yep. Well, here's the other thing too is like so I took my sons, like my sons got to experience family video and stuff like that. They got to
Mm-hmm.
do that, but like unless you had I remember when TiVo came out and you could skip commercials
Yep.
and then DirecTV and Dish had it. But
And then
before
and then they all and then everybody the DVIR
yep, we had
when
the
the
DVIR.
DVIR came. Yep.
So when I was a kid, we moved from the place we were living before, which is funny because we moved from West Orange Street to East Orange Street. But I remember like as
You
a
only
little
moved
kid
6
watching
houses down.
yeah, well, yeah, it was really like that. When I was a little kid, I watched like Disney in the morning. I'd watch like the Timon and Pumbaa show, or I'd watch like the Aladdin show. But then when
Mm-hmm.
we moved for like a couple weeks, we didn't have cable for some reason, and so we were just Farmer Five in it. I
Yeah.
remember when
Hell yeah.
the
I
day
Farmer
we
Fived
got
it for a long time. We had Farmer Vision. We didn't have all that highfalutin cable TV out here in the middle of nowhere.
when we had cable when we moved, and the first show I watched when we moved after we got cable was Dexter's Laboratory, and
Hell
it was
yeah.
raining outside,
That
and
was one of my favorites.
I used to love the Cosby Show. I loved the Cosby Show. I was such a huge fan of that. And this is odd. My mom and I got into like a disagreement, not like an argument, but we debated this because I was like, as a kid, I remember you watching NCIS, and she goes, "No, I didn't." And like, yes, you did. I vividly remember Gibbs and the
Yep.
whole thing. And she loved CSI,
Yep.
like the original, like the Vegas one. She was a
Mm-hmm.
big CSI head. I
I after I moved out on my own and was Farmer Five in it in my apartment, my TV lived on Ion television or whatever
Mhm.
channel that was, and it would just be out. I mean, just hours. It was at one time Ion. It was pretty much just all Criminal Minds. Like they would
yeah.
have like I think it was like Tuesdays was Criminal Minds Day or something like that. It was like they would just be. It would be from midnight to midnight, round the clock, Criminal Minds episodes, and so
Do you remember on TBS on Christmas Eve to Christmas Day for 24 hours, they'd play A Christmas Story?
yep,
My
yep.
parent, we used to watch that all the time.
Every well, not for the last few years, but just about every year it would just be Christmas Story on at my grandparents' house
Yeah.
every all day long. There's a family photo somewhere, and I can't remember which side of the family it's on, but there's a family photo of all of us in front of the TV up on the mantle with oh god, what's his name? The family
Yeah. Yeah. Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase. Yeah, there's a picture of all of us, and he's like hunched over, staring straight at out the TV, looking at the camera with us all smiling. That was
That's
another
funny.
one. The National Lampoon's
Christmas
is it?
Vacation.
Yeah, that's what it was. Christmas Vacation. Yeah, that one was a staple at the big family Christmas every year. It was either a Christmas Story or the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
When I was a little kid, I was like maybe 8 or 9. It's before my parents got divorced. My dad fell asleep on the couch, and I woke up at like 5:30, of course. And my dad slept hard, so my mom had taken the stockings because she was the front desk manager of this very nice resort in Wawasee called Oakwood. And so 2 points to this. So they would do a raffle at this resort every year for
Mm-hmm.
employees, and whoever won, their families would get to come and stay at the resort by themselves. Like they'd have the whole resort to themselves from Christmas Eve at like noon to like noon Christmas Day. And you'd have a 3-story resort all to yourself. And we won like 3
Hell
years in a
yeah,
row, and the
that's
Christmas tree
awesome.
was 3 stories tall. It was, dude, it was such a
Yeah,
fun thing.
I
But
bet. Sounds
my
fun.
mom was. It was great. It was a great time. We had a great. We'd take ping pong balls and drop them from the third story and try to
Hell
like
yeah.
catch them in our mouths and like just stupid shit.
Yeah.
But we'd have wheelchair races. It was great. But
Push each other down
my
the stairs.
yeah, exactly. My dad. So none of the stockings were hung up, and because my mom had taken them to fill them. So I'm like, my dad's a hard
But we
sleeper.
was Pow. They was just tube socks we hung up on the wall.
Yeah, it was just tube socks. So we had a bookshelf that was built into the wall, and it was
Uh-huh.
like three. It was like 3 or 4 shelves on the bottom. That's where we'd hang our. That's where we'd hang our. Whatchamacallits, it's our stockings. And my mom, I don't know if they used nails or if they used to use command strips, but like they weren't there. And so I found like our reserve stockings. And I was like, I don't know where our stockings are. So I took a hammer and a nail, and my dad's sleeping like 10, 15 feet away from me in the living room. And I'm sitting there just boo, boo, hanging up these things. And my dad would talk in his sleep, and he'd like sit up in his sleep and like act like he's at work. Like he'd be
Mm.
like, oh, that's, whatever. And so I'm hitting these nails, and all I can see in the corner of my eye is like my dad sit up, just straight up, and like, and I look over, and I'm like, I'm in trouble.
Oh no.
And then yeah,
Like the
and then he,
Undertaker.
yeah, and then he's like, he goes, that'll be like, he'd be like, he made some kind of joke, like not joke, but he made a work reference, and then he laid back down. And so right as I get done with the last one, I'm going to go put the hammer away, and my mom comes through the door, and she's got all the stockings like holding them.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "What are you doing?" Because I have the hammer in my hand and like the reserve nails I had left over. And I was like, I hung up all the stockings because all this. She goes, "Oh no, Santa dropped them off to me, and I've got them all." And then I think I figured out one night I stayed up super late and I heard them downstairs wrapping presents. This is how I know. This is how I know all this fake. This is what happened. I was like, I went to Sunday school and we had like a treasure chest, and you would say a Bible verse and then you'd get like a reward. Well, there was this Mickey Mouse wallet, this Velcro one, and it was great. And so I won it. I won the thing and I was so excited. And then like 3 weeks later, I lost my tooth. And so here we go. I'm going to get money. And I put my
Yeah, hell
wallet
yeah.
underneath my pillow, and I wasn't asleep. My room was dark. I turned off my TV and I'm just laying there. And I hear the door open, and I hear my dad say, "It's the tooth fairy." And like they're both snickering, and I could hear it all. I didn't like it. To me, it was like I stayed extra still and I was quiet, but I knew right then and there that
It
nothing
was
was
all
real. It was all fake because my mom and dad were laughing like so hard. My dad's like, "It's a tooth fairy." I just and thinking back on it, that was really funny. But I lost one tooth, bro. I lost it at my grandpa's house, and he gave me $40. And
holy
after
shit.
that, yeah, after that, that was my dad's reaction. And he goes, my dad's like, "Well, we can't. I'm not gonna give you $40 for a tooth. So
Yeah,
you
no
better just."
kidding.
And so I would just save it. I wouldn't tell my parents, and then I would go to my grandpa's, and he gave me like $20.
Hell yeah.
And hell
Thanks,
yeah, bro.
Grandpa.
Dude, my
Yeah,
grandpa
that's
was so
awesome.
dope. One day, I'll never forget this. There was a Yamaha commercial on the TV. This was the coolest, probably one of the coolest days of my life. I was 11, and there's a
That's pretty
Yamaha
rough. It's all
commercial.
downhill from there.
It really is. I mean, it really was. My parents got a divorce like 3 months later. It really did just like crash. Yeah, the whole thing was just wild after this. But I'm watching a Yamaha commercial, and he goes, "Those look really cool." He goes, "Let's go somewhere." And I was like, "All right." And we stop at like I don't know what dealership we went to, but he bought me a Polaris four-wheeler that day. And then we went to a Walmart. He bought me a PlayStation 2, the Slim. And I mean, he bought me a mountain of games.
Hell
And
yeah.
it wasn't my birthday. It wasn't Christmas. It was just a day.
Yeah.
And he just went and bought. I was loved and cherished. I was the firstborn, and they never let anybody forget that. Well, that's our
Yeah.
first, and I got
Yep.
treated like it, son. I was
That's why you're
spoiled
so full of
rotten.
yourself.
Yeah, dude, I was the funniest kid on the block. There was no more of a handsome child than me. I really
Yeah.
thought that I was just the cat's pajamas,
Yeah.
and then or the cat's meow or whatever they say. But
Yeah, whatever the kids are saying these days.
yeah, whatever it's called,
It's
skibbity
probably
suck
just
a cock or whatever.
skivity lit chat or whatever the hell.
Yeah, dude, what the fuck is skibbity, bro? It's
I have
so
no idea.
Skibbity, Ohio. You're from Ohio. I think that means sucks or something.
Yeah, well,
When did Ohio get such a bad rap?
I have no idea. I love it here.
Dude, Ohio got shitted on.
Yeah.
Like one day it just
Like
stuck.
cost of living's really cheap here, and we don't have to worry about all that lib cuck bullshit.
Not yet.
Not yet. It's probably coming, but
Coming. But yeah.
Yeah. The furries are here. We got to worry about furries, but
Are they in your town?
no, that's mostly meth heads and Mexicans in my town. So
Well, Cincinnati's fun. I've always enjoyed Cincinnati.
yeah. Yeah, I mean the bigger cities in Ohio are pretty cool. Columbus is really cool. Toledo has its places. Cleveland's a really cool city. Like all the big cities in Ohio are pretty cool. Like
Um,
in Columbus, they have like a German town, a German village or whatever. It's
mhm.
basically like Chinatown, but for Germany. And they
Yeah,
have this place. It's a restaurant called Schmidt's Sausage House, and
I
I
bet you
mean it.
love it.
I do, dude. Every time we go to Columbus, we have to stop at Schmidt's.
And get some just long wiener.
Get some German sausage, sauerkraut, spatzel.
What
If
the
I'm
fuck is
probably saying
spaffle?
that wrong, it's like a spatzel is like a dumpling, but it's like the deals in Chex Mix that are like about this long and they're just lumpy, long skinny
Yeah.
guys. It's like that, but like a dumpling material, like a dumpling kind of
Mm.
food. And like they mix it in with all kinds of stuff. My favorite is green beans and spatzel. But yeah, that place is really good. And they have cream puffs. The cream
Ooh,
puffs are as big as your head.
really?
And they have like they'll have flavors of the month, different all throughout the year. Like they'll have Reese's like peanut butter, they'll have cookies and cream and chocolate chip cookie dough and mint flavor and then just like and then they have the regular ones where it's just like vanilla chocolate and peanut butter or strawberry. Maybe it's
Are they like the
strawberry.
big wafers? Is that what you're talking about? Like the
Yeah,
wafers?
they're like an eclair, but
Yeah.
this big.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, dude, they're so good. And but yeah, and then Toledo's got the Glass Museum, Cleveland's got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
What a
Um,
place to have it.
or no, is it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or
It's the
the Hard
baseball
Rock?
Hall of Fame. It's the baseball. I thought, well, there's a baseball or football Hall of Fames in Ohio. I'm
I
pretty
can't
sure.
I can't remember. I can't remember if it's the. I got a computer right here in front of me. Let me look it up. Cleveland Hall of Fame. We'll just do that. Rock. Yeah, it is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I thought it was. I've
What a
never
weird
been.
place to have it.
I've never been, but the building itself looks really cool. And
Why wouldn't you have
been
it in
by it a
like
couple of
somewhere
times.
else? Why wouldn't you have it in like LA or
Because
Chicago
LA is fucking
or
gay.
yeah, but there's more music done there. Where in the fuck is music done in Columbus,
Cleveland.
Cleveland?
I don't know.
What cool bands or rap groups or anything has come out of Cleveland? Oh, MGK came out of Cleveland.
Fuck that guy.
And I'm just saying. I'm trying to think of one. Is it Bone Thugs and Harmony? I don't know.
More. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Cleveland Rocks.
It's like
15
this.
amazing bands. Oh, man. This isn't giving me anything. I was hoping for just like a list. It's not.
I
Never
just never
mind.
liked rock.
Well, they don't, it's whatever at this point. They're letting anybody into anything. So it's not like I think they just inducted Cher into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think. Like, she's not rock and roll, you
No,
know?
dude.
And
She think about
they
it.
let
Her biggest
friggin'
hit was in the
Jelly Roll into the
'70s.
Grand Ole Opry.
For what? That pisses me off. I don't
Yeah.
care. I
Like
don't
I like
care.
Jelly Roll, but he doesn't belong in the Grand Ole Opry.
I do not like Jelly Roll. I've taken a stance on that, and
Yeah.
I'll die on that hill. Dude, Sonny and Cher are back in the '70s, and
Yeah.
she's still kicking around singing.
Do you believe in life after love? That's the only Cher song I know.
I got you, babe. That's their song. I
Oh,
got
that's
you,
Sunny.
babe.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Sonny and Cher. I guess I
Yeah,
know
well,
that
yeah.
song.
That's Cher. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know, but
Also Sonny.
not
Who remembers Sonny? Nobody.
exactly. I don't remember Sonny. I just remember Cher. Probably because she's still alive.
Yeah.
Big dummy. Shouldn't have run into that tree on a ski slope.
Is that what happened to him?
Yeah, that's his name, isn't it? Sonny Bono.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was skiing. Sonny,
That would
no
suck so. That would suck so bad.
death.
Big dummy. Big dummy.
Salvatore Philip, or Sonny Bono, crashed into a tree and died at the age of 62 while skiing at Heavenly Mountain
Damn.
Resort in South Lake Tahoe, California, in January 5th, 1998.
He must have been going really hard or just hit
He
his head just right.
He had to have been scooting.
Yeah, like getting after it, dude. Well, and what a place to go to, Heavenly Resort. And
Right.
I wonder how many bodies have been claimed there.
Wow. Holy shit. So I just clicked a link for CNN. CNN.com. And so it says right here, January 6, 1998, an autopsy on the body of U.S. Representative Sonny Bono, the former singer and TV performer who was killed in skiing accident Monday, revealed that he died of massive head injuries. Big dummy, should have been wearing a helmet.
He was a U.S. representative?
I guess. That's what it says.
What?
Douglas County, Nevada Sheriff Ron Pierini said at a news conference Tuesday that Bono's death was caused by massive head injuries due to blunt force trauma from hitting a tree. He said his death was immediate. There was no indication other persons were involved. It's very tragic for Sonny Bono. But I clicked that link for CNN, and what I'm looking at is like Windows 98 straight out of This Is Wild. I haven't seen a website look like this in a very long time. But it's CNN.com. They must have just not updated it since 1998.
Dude, I think, you know what I still think's wild, and people probably don't think I'm dumb for this, that Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
better say that right,
I was just going to say, careful.
Yeah, was a governor.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess
California.
it's not that wild. I guess it's not that wild because Ronald Reagan was a hardcore actor, and
When he was governor not that long ago.
I think it was like 20 years ago.
I don't know how to spell that, so I'm just gonna click that.
This Arnold S.W. Schwartz.
Of California, 2003 to 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was close, 15 years ago. And then I think he got in trouble for sleeping with his maid.
Mm-hmm.
For having a kid with this
he had a love child.
ugly maid that was like not attractive.
That was the last time that California had a balanced budget.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Schwarzenegger faced significant challenges, including managing California's energy crisis, economic downturns, and political opposition in legislature. He was criticized for high veto rates, conflicts of interest, and perceived self-enrichment, with some organizations naming him among the worst governors during his tenure. So he wasn't as good as I thought he was.
Oh yeah, no, people were complaining about him. And then Ronald Reagan was the president.
Yeah.
And he was an actor back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he slapped a couple women on camera.
I think I've seen that.
Funny.
I mean, different time.
Back in the day, you could just slap them around, bro. Yeah, back in the day, you could just
slap a woman and nobody would think anything different. Oh fuck, that's not what it is.
You guys ready for lunch? Right after that, right before that, he just beat the living daylights out of some broad.
Yeah,
he goes,
that's right.
Let's get some sandwiches, guys. I'm tired. I need a refreshing. I need an uplift. Just like, God, she just doesn't shut up. Excuse me.
Wasn't that supposed to whack us by now?
No, it got diverted. I was diverted.
Oh.
No, but have you seen where people are saying
holy shit?
Are you seeing it?
It is 461,407,660 miles from Earth.
Have you seen where comets are falling from the sky like one a day? Someone's saying like during the day, just giant comets or meteorites just hit like coming through Earth's atmosphere and you'll see a giant fireball. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a video of that the other day. That it was speaking of Cleveland got hit by an asteroid, and I was like, I wonder how many people thought it was Iran.
Oh, probably a bunch. Somebody was like, oh my gosh. Well, there was a lady in California, I don't know where on her body, but she was like way back in the 50s or 60s, she was hit by a meteorite. And it like struck her and like went like caused a wound. And there was another guy that was hit in the head back in California or something, and it killed him.
What's going on in California?
That was a while ago, though. What's not going on in California is a true question.
Unlike typical comments from the Oort cloud, capital O-O-R-T, interstellar objects like Atlas originate from other star systems ejected by gravitational interactions traveling through the galaxy for millions or billions of years before passing through ours. That's wild.
Well, Tangent Plant listeners,
I think we went off on a handful of tangents this time.
Yeah, we did. I appreciate your guys' time. We thank you. I always forget to do this at the beginning, but please like, comment, subscribe, watch our videos, laugh at it, comment on it. Give us some things you want us to talk about. What do you want us to know? Our opinions about stuff. And we hope you guys have a great week, a good weekend, and we will see you again soon. Adios. See you later. Bye-bye.
That's all.